Let us start our today's discussion with respect to the demand forecasting methods. It has been mentioned in your module number 1, the methods for project identification or project selection based upon the market analysis. And when we say the market analysis is based upon the demand forecasting technique. And using this demand forecasting technique, the organizations are able to understand what are the future trends for the sales or the demand of a particular product in the market. And based upon this, they are able to take certain decisions with respect to the project, with respect to the product, or with respect to expansion of certain products into the market. So I hope you all have gone through at least the theoretical background which has been given in this PDF for your demand forecasting methods. Before we start with actual discussion on this, let us try to just understand from you people what you have understood about this demand forecasting concept. I hope you have read this contents, and what is your opinion, feedback, understanding about this demand forecasting methods or the concept of demand forecasting. There is one more word which is prediction, and why this forecasting is essential, what happens or how it helps the organization to take certain decisions. So I will like you to unmute and give your feedback, at least one or two students. Yes, anyone? Be quick. We have to deal with the problems also.
Yes, sir. Parag here, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon, Parag.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर. ॲक्च्युली मी मध्येच आता खूप दिवसांनी जॉईन झालो लेक्चरला, त्यासाठी सॉरी फर्स्ट. आणि मी सांगू इच्छितो की डिमांड फोरकास्टिंग इम्पॉर्टंट का आहे. ॲक्च्युली कसं कुठच्याही ऑर्गनायझेशनमध्ये गेल्यानंतर त्या कुठचंही डायरेक्ट कुठचीही मागणी डिमांड असते त्याचा अंदाज घेतल्याशिवाय कुठचंही प्रोडक्शन केलं तर कंपनी लॉसमध्ये जाऊ शकते. कारण कसं असतं आपल्याला एक आयडिया नसते ॲक्च्युली की काय प्रोडक्शन कशा प्रकारे किती आपल्याला क्वांटिटी लागणार आहे, ऍक्च्युली डिमांड काय आहे पब्लिकची, किंवा कशा प्रकारचा त्याला क्वालिटी लागणार आहे, कशा प्रकारची मागणी आहे त्या प्रोडक्ट बद्दल कस्टमरची. पण जेव्हा आपण डिमांड फोरकास्टिंग करतो तेव्हा आपल्याला ऍक्च्युअल आयडिया येते की ऍक्च्युली कस्टमरची डिमांड काय आहे, आणि त्यानुसार जर प्रोडक्ट आपण मॅन्युफॅक्चर केले, प्रोडक्शन केलं, तर ऍक्च्युली कस्टमरच्या डिमांड प्रमाणे खूप क्वांटिटी आपलं परचेस सेल होऊ शकतो आणि त्यामुळे कंपनीचा ग्रोथ होऊ शकतो असं मला वाटतंय सर.
Okay, good. So, what he said is rightly correct. If we have forecasting proper, we get a feel that what is going to happen for the particular product for your organization in future, and accordingly you can manage the resources, you can plan the activities, and it will help you to have your organization in working in the right direction and making the products, launching the products which are suitable for the market, and you can manage your resources properly. Okay, so there are two words, one is prediction and other is forecasting. So these two words we should we should not interchange with each other. On superficial level we can feel that forecasting is same as prediction, but normally prediction is based upon uh, the judgment, the experience, or the, what you can say, what the manager feels about, the authorities feels about the product which is there in market, or how much will be the demand. So something like this. So there is no quantitative data which is backing that particular prediction. But when we come for this forecasting is based upon the data which is collected for past events for a certain period of time, and based upon this data we are trying to estimate what will be the future sale, future demand, future market condition for a particular product. So since this is based upon some concrete data which is available for the same product for some previous period, for a certain period in past, so that's why whatever estimate we are getting, that is more realistic, that is more foolproof as compared to the prediction, because prediction is simply based upon certain judgments and experience. So there are chances that it may go wrong, but if you compare that prediction with the forecasting, forecasting will be more and more realistic because it has been derived through certain data which is available with the organization. So you must have gone through this need for forecasting and all long term. So maybe less than 1 year, that is short term forecast, and 5 to 10 years, that we can say as the long term forecast. Okay. Now moving to the first method. So basically there are three methods we have to see. One is moving average method, next is exponential smoothing method, and third one, it is least square method. Actually in syllabus if you see, only two methods are specified, moving average and the exponential smoothing. But when I referred to the question papers, in one question paper they have asked one problem for least square method also. So that's why even though it is not mentioned in syllabus, it is always better that we should go for this moving average, least square and exponential smoothing methods for forecasting. If you wish to understand what is the importance of this as far as your exams are concerned, let us try to understand this. So this is one of your university paper. I will just go and check whether there are any problems with respect to this forecasting. See this. Following table shows actual demand of refrigerators for period of past 7 weeks using exponential smoothing method. Using exponential smoothing method, alpha equal to 0.2, determine the forecasted demand for 8th week. Also find this MAD, MSE, MAPE, assume FT is equal to 80 for the first week. So this is for 5 marks. Okay. Then again, there is a question on with respect to exponential smoothing method of forecasting. Discuss the smoothing constant and its significance in detail. This is also for 5 marks. Again, if you go for this paper, you can see this is a question. The demand of a product for past 12 months was observed as follows. So there is some data which is provided for 12 months using 3 years moving average method. Using 3 years moving average method, find out the forecasted demand for 13th month. Also find this MAD, MSC, MAP, etc. Again for 5 marks. Explain in detail the significant difference between moving average method and weighted average method. So in moving average only, we will be trying to understand what is the modification, that is weighted average method. So that will be the next part. Today we will try to understand this moving average and both weighted average method also, so that you will come to know what is the exact difference between these two methods. So you can see, like for this forecasting, 5 plus 5, 10, and here it was again 5 plus 5, 10. So almost 20 marks weightage will be there on this forecasting, 10 marks numericals, 10 marks theoretical part. Again, if you go to this paper, This I am just showing you because as a student, we are always uh, interested to know what will be the weightage, what will be the importance of this in the final examination. Following data is available for actual sales quantities for past 12 years. Find out the forecast for year 13 by fitting straight line trend using method of least squares. So here you can see this is for 10 marks. Even though this least square method is not mentioned in syllabus, still they have asked the problem on this. So that's why we have to also try to understand and solve the problems based upon this. You can see here the sales of certain product during 10-year period have been shown as follows. Some sales have been given for 10 periods. Using exponential smoothing method, find the forecast value of sales for all the years, assuming forecasted value for first year as 200 and alpha is equal to 0.2. It is for 5 marks. Following data is available about actual sales quantities for past 12 years. Find out the forecasted sales for 13th year using 3 years moving averages. It is for 5 marks. So you can see 5 plus 5, 10, and that least square method 10 marks. So almost every paper you will find there will be a weightage of 20 marks based upon these forecasting methods. So that's why this particular part is very important. It is easy. Simply you have to apply your knowledge and try to find out the answers for whatever problem is given to you. You can see following table shows actual demand of refrigerator for a period of 7 weeks. Using exponential smoothing method, determine forecasted demand for that week. Determine MAD, MSC, MAP for 10 marks. So this problem, the weightage is only 10 marks, I think. Or there may be some theory question. So the weightages, sometimes they are varying, but 10 marks, 20 marks, these are the weightages which have been observed. Yes, here also you can see there is a problem of 10 marks. Past demand for 6 months is given. Calculate mean squared error and sales for 7th month using moving average method. Mean absolute deviation and estimated sale using exponential smoothing method, and mean absolute percentage error as a measure of accuracy in forecasting. So variety of questions have been asked in a single question, and we are supposed to give the answers for that, and the weightage is for 10 marks. So 2 papers are there where the weightage is 10 marks. 2 papers are there where the weightage is 20 marks. So even if we go for minimum, still we can say at least 10 marks weightage will be there on this particular module, and keeping this 10 marks weightage, which is very, very important. So that's why we need to learn this as a significant weightage as far as your exam is concerned. So I hope you have understood what is the importance of this. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us try to understand the first method, moving average method of forecasting. Whether anybody of you has already studied about this moving average method in your graduation or some of the subjects in semester 1, 2, 3 for MMS? Is there anyone who knows something about this method? Yes or no? Okay, you are putting this in a chat box. Demand forecasting is a process in which historical sales data is. Okay, yes, yes, yes. So many people are knowing this. Okay. So it will be easier for them to understand because already they have solved certain problems with respect to this method. I hope the screen is clearly visible to you.
Yes, sir.
The
Yes,
past
sir.
date.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes. थोडं बोलू. एक
हाँ
रिक्वेस्ट
पराग.
होती एक रिक्वेस्ट करू का सर?
हाँ पराग बोला.
सर थोडं मराठी पण यूज करत जावा ना, म्हणजे कसं थोडंसं समजायला इझी होईल.
ओके ओके ओके. Yes. What I feel is wherever you have doubt, you can just ask, so that I will go for explaining it for other students also. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because we are recording also the lectures and we are putting it on YouTube also. So that's why we'll try to have maximum things in English. Wherever you feel that there is certain doubt, you can just unmute yourself and ask. I will explain it in Marathi.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. No problem, sir.
Yeah. So coming back to the moving average method of forecasting, let us try to understand first what is this method is all about, and then we will go for understanding how to solve the problem. The past data of sales of a company can have fluctuations because of the seasonal variations and random variations. Simple averaging the demand for previous period is going to hide the trend. So normally what we do, let us say we have certain product, we are selling it in the market for 1 year, and we have the data that for the first month how much is the sale, second month how much is the sale, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All the 12 months we have some 10, 20, 30, 15, 12, whatever data we are having. If we take simply the average, so take summation of all and divided by total number of periods, that is 12, I will get average value for the average sale per month for that particular product based upon the data for 1 year. But that average, if you try to use for the next months, that this much will be the sale for coming month, then there may be some inaccuracy. There may be the estimate may be wrong, because we are taking simply average for all the 12 periods and finding out the uh, predicted value or estimated value for the next month. So in this particular case, this moving average is a simple statistical tool which is going to extrapolate and establish the trend of past sales. In this case, instead of taking the average for all periods together, we go for taking certain number of periods, like 3 periods, 5 periods, 7 periods, and we go on calculating rolling average for that constant period of time. For each that set of period, we calculate the average fresh, and then when we go for next, we add 1 period and we eliminate 1 period which is at the past. So this is, since we are moving ahead with 3, 5, 7, whatever we have decided number of periods from the first period towards the last, that's why we call it as moving average method. As we are moving with the periods from period number 1 up to the last period, we call it as moving average method. The simple moving average, how it is calculated? Sum of demands for n periods divided by n number of periods. Let us say if we want to calculate moving average for 3 periods, then we will take sum of demands for 3 periods divided by 3. If we try to calculate the moving average for 5 periods, we will calculate the summation of demands for 5 periods divided by 5. If it is for 7 periods, normally that moving average periods, they are either 3, 5, 7, odd number we take. We don't take 2, 4 normally. So whatever number of periods you have decided, that is n, it may be 3, it may be 5, it may be 7, and at the top numerator we are having the addition of all the demands for those n periods. So if d1, d2, d3, dn, they are the demands for different periods, the moving average can be calculated for n periods as the first value moving average is, we are starting with the, let us say there are n number of periods. So we start with d1, first period demand up to dn, that is the last period demand. So what we have is D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7, Dn, whatever. So this will be addition of all the demands for period number 1 up to period number n divided by n, because we are taking into account n number of periods and we are taking this addition of all the demands for those n number of periods in the numerator divided by n number of periods. So let us say n is equal to 5. So what we will take is d1, d2 plus d3 plus d4 plus d5 divided by 5. Okay, let us assume that in our case n is equal to 5. Then d1, d2, d3, d4, d5 divided by 5, that is first value moving average. When we go for second value moving average, what we do is we eliminate this d1 and we add dn plus 1. Means we will eliminate d1 and we will add d6. So now again we are having only 5 number of periods. So n is equal to 5. But this is d2 plus d3 plus d4 plus d5 plus d6. Again 5 number of periods, their demands, addition of that. When we go for the third value, we remove this d2 and start with d3 and we add one more at the end, that is dn plus 2. So since our n is equal to 5, so we start with d3 plus d4 plus d5 plus d6 and n plus 2 means 5 plus 2, 7. So last will be d7 divided by n, that is equal to same, that is constant, that is 5 number of periods. I hope you have understood this because that is very important. जर आपल्याला 3, 5, 7 जे काय नंबर ऑफ पिरियड्स कन्सिडर करायचे, आपण D1 ला स्टार्ट करणार आणि एंड जो असेल, जर समजा 3 पिरियड्स असतील तर D1 प्लस D2 प्लस D3 डिवायडेड बाय 3 फर्स्ट व्हॅल्यू मुव्हिंग ॲव्हरेज. जेव्हा आपण सेकंड व्हॅल्यू मुव्हिंग ॲव्हरेज काढणार तेव्हा D1 रिमूव्ह करणार. We will start with D2 plus D3 plus dn plus 1. n आपला किती आहे 3 आहे आता. So n plus 1 means 4. So D2 plus D3 plus D4 divided by 3. जेव्हा आपण थर्ड मुव्हिंग ॲव्हरेज काढणार D2 रिमूव्ह करणार आणि D5 ऍड करणार. So D3 plus D4 plus D5 divided by 3. जर 5 पिरियड्स साठी आपण मुव्हिंग ॲव्हरेज काढत असू तर D1 प्लस D2 प्लस D3 प्लस D4 प्लस D5 डिवायडेड बाय 5. सेकंड व्हॅल्यू मुव्हिंग ॲव्हरेज मध्ये D1 रिमूव्ह करायचा, D6 ऍड करायचा. थर्ड व्हॅल्यू मुव्हिंग ॲव्हरेज मध्ये D2 रिमूव्ह करायचा, D7 ऍड करायचा. Likewise, we have to go on continuing the calculation of moving average. So let us try to remember this. When we will see the problem in actual sense, you will come to know in better manner. Larger the value of n, smaller is the effect of random variations and a higher smoothing effect you will get. So as compared to 3 periods moving average, you can get more effect 5 number of periods. N periods moving average is located against n plus 1 by 2 period. So let us say you are taking 3 periods moving average. So whatever value you are getting, you will be mentioning it against 3 plus 1, that is 4 divided by 2, that is 2, second period. If you are taking 5 periods moving average, you will take 5 plus 1 divided by 2, that is 6 divided by 2, 3. So you will write that demand forecast against the value what you get as moving average against the third period. If you go for 7 periods moving average, 7 plus 1 divided by 2, you will write the moving average in front of the fourth period. So why we take this n plus 1 by 2? So that we write it at the center of that number of periods what we have taken. If you have taken 3 periods, center is second. If you take 5 periods moving average, center is third period. If you take 7 period moving average, the center value is your fourth period. So likewise, whatever is the central value, against that central value, a central period, we have to write down this particular moving average value. So let us try to understand this problem. So I appeal all of you, if you are having writing material with you, pen and paper, please note down this problem. The data given below represents sales of ABC company for 12 months of year 2010. In first row, there are months written from January 2010 to December 2010. And next row, there are sales written, sales units. So maybe for a certain product, 400, 490, 570, 500, 640, 680, 710, 800, 820, 910, 860, and 950. So for all the 12 months for entire year 2010, these are the values for sales in units for a particular product. So are you writing this problem simultaneously?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So just tell me once you complete that month and sales tabular format. I think Pratiksha is from finance.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's why your forecasting is with respect to the stocks prices for a certain period. So the method is same, where to apply and for what to go for forecast. That is depending upon your domain in which you are working. People who are working in HR may be taking the data of how many people are employed for a certain period of time in the past, and then they will try to forecast the demand for laborers, demand for employees in the coming days, contractual employees. So likewise, depending upon where you are working, marketing people, obviously they will be working on this, how much will be the demand in market for a particular product. So depending upon your domain, the application of the demand forecasting method will change.
Sir, may I
Yeah.
know what is the number after S? Miss S is O and O is 9, 14 or 910. What it is?
Just a minute. Yes, you want the number for September?
Last one, October. October 9-1.
Just a minute. October is
910.
910,
Okay.
910.
And then
November it is 860,
1 second. Na? November 8. How much? 860.
860.
And December
Check whether it is visible to all. 950, December
950. Okay.
950.
Okay.
So should I go for announcing all this data again? Just irrespective of the months, I will go in the sequence: 400, 490, 570, 500, 640, 680, 710, 800, 820, 910, 860, and 950.
Okay.
I think for everyone, you must have got the values now correct. So
Yes.
now see the questions. Calculate 3 months moving average. MA is moving average. So calculate the 3 months moving average. Ignore the decimal values. So we should round off to the nearest integer, whatever value you are getting. Forecast for the month January 2011. So first part is we have been given that we need to apply this moving average method, and once we understand that moving average method is to be applied, the second question which should come in our mind is for how much months, what is the period, whether we should go for 3 months or 3 period moving average, 5 period moving average, 7 period moving average. So normally that will be specified in the problem, how many periods you should consider for this moving average to calculate. So that is clear now. Moving average method is to be applied. Number of periods are 3 periods moving average. Secondly, we have to calculate the forecast for month January 2011. So this is data for entire 2010 year. So based upon the data for these 12 months of 2010, we have to calculate the forecast for the first month of next year, that is 2011. And next is, if the actual demand for January 2011 is 905 units, what should be the forecast for month February 2011? So based upon, once you calculate the forecast for January 2011, and if you find that the actual demand for January 2011 is 905 units, we have to calculate the forecast for February month of 2011. Okay. So let us try to first concentrate on the first part, calculate 3 months moving average, the basic work, whatever we want to do. So now what we have done is, the months and sales which were written in rows, we have put them into columns. So first column is the month and second column is about the sales. So the same values what are given in the problem, 400 up to 950, we have written them in the form of column number 1 and column number 2. Is it visible to everyone? So
Yes,
you
sir.
also try to write the values in 2 columns, column number 1 as month, column number 2 as sales, and keep space half of your page for next 2 columns, that is about moving total and moving average. So the table is
Okay.
in front of you, but you write only first 2 columns, because next 2 columns we need to calculate and then write. So don't go for hurriedly copying the values. What is expected is only 2 columns you should write, month and sales. How these further values have come, that we'll discuss, and then you can write. Just tell me once you complete the 2 columns.
Yes, completed, sir.
Completed. All of you?
Just a minute, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay. I hope all others are also on the verge of completion for the 2 columns, month and sales. Now take the third column. Third column is moving total. You may skip this column also. It is not mandatory, but this will be helpful to minimize the errors. Now what this column is all about? When we say moving total, how many periods we should consider for moving average? What is given in problem?
12.
How many periods for moving average? Calculation of moving average?
3 months.
3 months.
3 months.
So when it is said 3 months, start with the first month. This is month 1, month 2, month 3. So up to March. Okay. So period 1, period 2, period 3. Try to calculate the addition of these all cells. So 400, that is your D1. 490, this is your D2. And 570, this is your D3. Okay. So our formula is D1 plus D2 plus D3 divided by 3. So that's why we should calculate the summation first. Once we have the addition, we can divide by 3 and get the moving average. So check whether you get this value as 1460.
Yes, sir.
Yes, 1460. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now
1460.
this value should be written in front of which period? The central period. We are going for 3 months moving average. So 3 plus 1 divided by 2, n plus 1 divided by 2. Here we have seen n plus 1 divided by 2. So 3 plus 1, that is 4 divided by 2, that is second period. So second period means February. In front of February, we have to write this 1460. Understood?
Sir,
So-
will you please repeat it again?
We have taken 3 months moving average. So first we are calculating the addition of demand or sales for period 1, period 2, period 3. So that is, so I will just zoom it more so that you will forget about all other values.
Hmm.
Just a minute. Okay. So now only the required things are in front of you.
Hmm.
The first month sells 400, second month sells 490, third month sells 570. Why we are taking only these three? Because in problem they have mentioned calculate 3 months moving average. So first thing what we are doing is 400, that is D1 plus D2 490 plus D3 570. Add them together. This value should come out to be 1460. This 1460 we should write somewhere, whether we should write in front of first period, second period, or third period, because it is calculation of addition of demand for first 3 periods. So always it has to be written in front of the central period. So out of 3, which is the central? Second. Correct? First, second, third. So which is at the center? Second period. So in front of the second period, we should write this addition 1460. Understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
At present, don't worry about this 1560. This is not required now. Only focus on this 1460. It is written in front of the period which is at center. So 1, 2, 3. Second period is at the center. In front of that, we have written this moving average. Now a moving total. Once we have this moving total, we have to calculate moving average. Okay. How to calculate moving average? Moving total divided by number of periods. How many periods we have?
3 months.
So 1460 divided by 3. Check whether it is approximately 487. And it should be written again in front of this 1460. That is second period. Calculate and tell me whether the value is matching.
Yes, sir. 486.67 means
Yeah, we have to
487.
round off because already we have discussed that if there are in decimals, we should round off to the next integer
Yes,
value.
yes, yes, sir. 487.
Okay. I hope all others are getting the same value.
Yes, sir. 486.6 means it is 7 only. Okay.
Yes. 1460 divided by 3. That is our moving average, and it should be written in front of the second period, that is February month, and it is 486.66. So it should be rounded off because in problem only they have mentioned that you should round off to the ignore the decimal values. So we should round off to the next value. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That is about first 3 periods. Now, forget when we go for next. Initially, what we have considered was D1, D2, D3. Is it correct? January, February, and March. Now forget about January and add April because always 3 months are required. So this 400 we will eliminate and we will add this 500 as the third period. So now we will start with 490 plus 570 plus 500. So add these three values. So now we are going for D2 plus D3 plus D4. These are the three periods. And check whether the addition is 1560.
60.
If anyone is getting other than 1560, please tell me.
Yes.
If 1560 is correct,
Yes, sir. 1560 is correct.
okay. Now this 1560 should be written in front of which month?
March.
Yes, because we have considered
Third.
February, March, April. So which is at the center? That is March. So in front of March, we have written this 1560. Okay. Now once we have this 1560, again we have to divide by 3. We will get the moving average as 520. You can check the value.
Yes, 520, sir.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
520.
Everybody is getting. It is very simple. Just we should know which periods are to be considered, which are to be added, which should be the value for division, and where the value should be written. That's all. Everybody is getting 520.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then coming to the next part. Now we have to eliminate February and we have to add the month of May. So now we will be calculating for March, April, May. So this is D3 plus D4 plus D5. Correct? So 570 plus 500 plus 640, 640. Check whether the value is 1710. Addition divided by 3, it should be 570.
Yes.
Now, if you have understood this, I will just put the entire table in front of you. You can go on calculating and cross-checking the values. Is it possible for everyone now?
Yes, sir.
Follow the same process. Every time, remove 1 month, add the next month. Calculate the total right in front of the central value, central month, and once you write the total divided by 3, it will come in the last column as moving average. So likewise, go on calculating till end and parallelly cross check the values. Now the answers are in front of you. So once you have one value correct, then move for next value. Don't be in hurry to calculate everything. Go on checking the values one by one. Once you get correct, move to the next. At the end, there will be 3 periods, October, November, December. We will be able to calculate the value for total of the 3 periods and their average, and they will be written in front of November. So December, we will have dash dash in the last 2 columns. So check whether you are getting similar kind of values through your calculations. And those who finish the entire table up to this 2720 and 907, just put in chat box that finished. Once everybody puts finished, we will move further. So let's see who can calculate fast. Meenakshi says finished. Good. Meenakshi, whether all values are matching?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good.
Done, sir.
Okay, who is that? Tasmia. Pratiksha, have you completed?
Yes, sir. Complete.
Yes, Kimaya completed. I am just now looking at the chat box. So just put the message that it is finished. Anagha finished. Rasika Shetty finished. Bhagyashri finished.
Done. Done. Done.
Sandesh finished. Chaitali finished. Savarkar finished. Ingole has finished. So I hope most of you have done this, completed the things. Parag, any issues in calculation?
No
Have you
सर,
understood?
शेवटचं करतो, लास्ट करतो सर.
Yes, but have you understood the things? How to calculate?
Yes sir.
Okay, that's good. Siley has finished. Great.
Done sir.
Okay, that's good. So I hope everybody has finished. Now the first part is over. That calculation of 3 months moving average, ignoring the decimal values. So part 1 for this particular problem is finished. Let us move to the next part. Forecast for the month January 2011. How we will get forecast? So whatever value you will get for the previous moving average, that is nothing but the forecast for next month. So we have calculated the moving average for October, November, December, because we have taken the 3 months moving average. So for the next period, we have the periods available from January to December. The last moving average we have calculated is for October, November, December. So whatever is the moving average we have got for these 3 months, that is nothing but the forecasted value of sales for next period. So this 907, what we get is the forecasted value for next period. And what is the next period? It is nothing but January 2011. So the answer for this is forecast for the month January 2011 is 907 units. That is the last moving average. Okay, any doubts in this? Suppose you have the given data is for 6 months, for July to December, and you are supposed to calculate the forecast for again January. Then based upon the July to December data and whatever 3 months, 5 months, 7 months moving average is considered, whatever last moving average value you get for the last periods before that January 2011, that will be your forecast for that particular month. Understood? Any doubt?
Sir, can you repeat, please?
Let us say you have 10 periods, period 1 to period 10. For 3 months moving average. So for period number 11, you will consider the forecasted value equal to the moving average for previous 3 months, that is 10, 9, 8. In this case, we want to calculate the forecast for January 2011. So which are the periods before the January 2011? December, November, October, because we are going for 3 months moving average. Correct? So whatever is the moving average calculated for these 3 months, December, November, October, how much is this moving average? The addition is 2720, moving average is 907. So this 907 is the forecasted value for next period, that is January 2011. Understood? Still any doubts?
I'm not getting, sir.
सर म्हणजे डिसेंबर येणार नाही ना?
एक just a minute. I will explain it again. Initially, we started with January, February, March. 3 months we have taken for moving average calculation 487. This 487 is the forecasted value for next month, that is April. ज्या पिरियडचा आपण मुव्हिंग ॲव्हरेज कॅल्क्युलेट करतो त्या पिरियडच्या इमिजिएट नेक्स्ट पिरियड जो असेल त्याच्यासाठी ते मुव्हिंग ॲव्हरेज जे असेल ती फोरकास्टेड व्हॅल्यू असते. आपण जानेवारी, फेब्रुवारी, मार्च 3 महिन्याचा डेटा कन्सिडर केला, त्याचं मुव्हिंग ॲव्हरेज आलं 487. ह्या 3 महिन्यानंतरचा इमिजिएट पिरियड कुठला आहे? एप्रिल. सो 487 is the forecasted value of sales for April. It is not actual value. Actual sales किती आहे? 500 आहे. बरोबर आहे. पण जर मला एप्रिलचा फोरकास्ट पाहिजे असेल तर तो 487 आहे. जर मला मेचा फोरकास्ट पाहिजे असेल, आय शुड टेक इन टू अकाउंट द मुव्हिंग ॲव्हरेज फॉर फेब्रुवारी, मार्च, एप्रिल, दॅट इज 520. सो मेचा फोरकास्ट होता 520. ऍक्च्युअल सेल्स किती आहे? 640. कारण forecasted value and actual sales, they will be having certain difference. You will not have your sales as it is what you forecasted. But whenever you want to calculate the forecast for any particular period, it will be equal to the forecast for previous 3 months, 5 months, 7 months moving average. If somebody says what is the forecast for December 2010, it is the moving average for September, October, November. September, October, November, what is the moving average? 864. So 864 was forecasted sale. Actual sale किती आहे? 950 आहे. Now this is the data. Have you understood?
Yes sir, आता कळलं सर. Yes.
Now we want to calculate for January 2011. So which are the months before January 2011? December 2010.
October, November, December.
Yes. If it is 5 months moving average, we will take December, November, October, September, August. 5 months. Whatever is the moving average for 5 months, we will say that this is the forecasted value for January. In this case, 3 months moving average is calculated. So 3 months we have to take into account before January 2011. So that is October, November, December. For these 3 months, what is the calculated November? It is 907. So that's why the value for forecasted demand for January 2011, it is 907 units. That is the last moving average which is calculated. I hope now it is understood.
Yes sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, similar to this, what they have given in the third problem or third question, if actual demand for January 2011 is 905 units, how much will be the forecast for month February 2011? Now again you can see, for which month we want to calculate the forecast? February 2011. We are going for 3 months moving average. So which month's moving average we should consider? January 2011, December 2010, and November 2010, because these are the 3 months immediately before February 2011. Okay. Now, January 2011, the demand is given 905. So you can see demand for November, demand for December. This is for 2010, and demand for January 2011. So 860 from this table, 860 for November 2011, 950 for December 2011, and 905 given in the problem. It is the actual demand for January 2011. This is November and December for 2010. Sorry, 860 November 2010, 950 December 2010, and 905 it is for January 2011. Adding this all together divided by 3, what we get is 905, and that is nothing but the forecast for the February month, that is 905 units. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
The forecast for January is calculated by using the moving average for October, November, December. The forecast for February is calculated based upon the actual demand for November, December, January. And that moving average itself is the forecasted value. Understood? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Are there any queries?
Sir,
Yes.
this technique may not accurate for every time.